inches between them. The night the factory collapsed, Mira Hale learned the sound of silence breaking. It came after the screaming stopped, after the metal groaned one last time and folded inward like a dying lung. She stood behind the barricade, hands coated in dust that still smelled faintly of oil and heat, watching rescue lights sweep across rubble that had once been her father's life. By morning, officials would call it an accident. By noon, they would name no one responsible. Across the city, in a narrow apartment above a shuttered bookstore, Jonah Reed listened to the same news on the radio with a cracked speaker. The announcer's voice was calm, professional, too calm for a man describing 8 deaths and dozens of ruined families. Jonah shut the radio off before the names were read. He already knew one of them. Mira and Jonah had never met, but the same corporation had taken something from both of them, and neither of them believed in accidents anymore. Mira had grown up in the shadow of the factory, a red brick giant that hummed day and night. Her father had trusted it. He believed in honest work and safety manuals and the idea that if you follow the rules would protect you. When investigators closed the case within a week, citing structural failure due to age, Mira felt something inside her harden. Age didn't forge falsified inspection reports. Age didn't silence whistleblowers. She began where grief allowed her to function: paperwork, public records, old inspection filings, employee forums buried deep online. Each discovery felt like pulling a thread from a fraying cloth. Corners cut, warnings ignored, repairs postponed in favor of quarterly profits. The deeper she looked, the clearer it became that the collapse had been inevitable and preventable. Jonah's path was messier. His younger sister, Leah, had worked the night shift at the factory while saving money to leave the city. She had trusted Jonah when he told her the job was temporary, safe enough. When she didn't come home, Jonah went looking for someone to blame, and when no one stepped forward, he decided to find them himself. He broke into offices, stole discarded files, and followed people after work. His revenge burned hot and unfocused, driven by the belief that pain demanded an equal response. He didn't care about systems or shareholders. He wanted a face, a name, someone who could bleed. Their first intersection came quietly, in the city archives. Mira was copying handwritten inspection notes when Jonah sat down across from her, reeking faintly of rain and cigarettes. He noticed the same name she did, making the same circles, the same underlines. When their eyes met, recognition passed between them, sharp and immediate. Not familiarity, but purpose. You lost someone, Jonah said, not as a question. So did you, Mira replied. They didn't exchange condolences. They exchanged information. Over the following weeks, they worked together, though never comfortably. Mira planned. Jonah pushed. She insisted on evidence airtight enough to survive courts and public scrutiny. He argued that justice delayed was justice denied. Their methods clashed, but their destination remained the same: the executive board of Halcyon Industrial. The deeper they went, the more dangerous the truth became. Anonymous threats appeared in Mira's inbox. Jonah was followed twice, maybe 3 times. Still, neither stopped. Revenge, they discovered, was easier to share than grief. The opportunity came sooner than expected. Halcyon CEO, Victor Lang, was scheduled to testify before a regulatory committee, a performance meant to reassure investors and bury responsibility. Mira saw it as a stage. Jonah saw it as bait. They argued the night before. If we release everything now, Mira said, pacing her apartment, we expose them all. Permanently. And then what? Jonah shot back. They pay fines and retirage? That's not justice. Jonah wanted confrontation. Mira wanted collapse. In the end, revenge chose for them. Jonah leaked the files, every falsified report, every suppressed warning, to the press hours before the hearing. Mira watched the live broadcast as Victor Lang's confident smile dissolved under questioning he hadn't prepared for. Stock prices fell. Arrest warrants followed. Jonah stood outside the courthouse, fists clenched, watching Lang be escorted into a black car, not to prison, but to a waiting lawyer. It wasn't enough. Weeks later, the city settled into a new normal. Investigations dragged on. Settlements were promised. Memorials were unveiled. Mira testified. Jonah disappeared. When Mira finally tracked him down, she found him at the factory ruins, now fenced off and silent. It's over, she said. Jonah shook his head. It's unfinished. He told her about the plan he'd abandoned, one that would have ended with blood. Mira listened, fear knotting her chest. She realized then that revenge had split into two paths, one that ended in accountability, and one that ended in becoming what they hided. You don't need to do this, she said. Jonah looked at the rubble, at the weeds pushing through concrete. Maybe not. But I needed to know I could. They stood there until dusk, sharing the weight of what might have been. In the end, Halcyon fell, not with an explosion, but with erosion. Executives resigned. Lawsuits mounted. The factory was never rebuilt. Mira returned to school, carrying her father's memory like a compass rather than a wound. Jonah left the city, carrying his sister's name but no longer her anger. Their revenge had not brought the dead back. It had not erased the past. But it had reshaped the future, proving that justice could be pursued without destroying the living. And in that fragile balance, between fury and restraint, they found something neither had expected, the freedom to let go.